Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar. I am Tanya Gupta and I'll be both your host and your trainer for today's session. It's so great to have you all with us, and I'm really excited to kick off this series of webinars dedicated to helping you get the most out of XEBO, our powerful survey tool, and so much more. This webinar series is designed to guide you through the various features and capabilities of XEBO. Each session will focus on a different topic, giving you a deep dive into how you can use the tool to achieve your goals. In today's very first webinar of the series, we'll be focusing on building surveys. I'll take you through the steps of creating the surveys from scratch, customizing your questions, and setting up your survey to get the most accurate and insightful responses. At the end of this webinar, we'll have a Q&A session where we'll answer all your questions. So make sure to jot them down as we go along. Also, it's a humble request to keep your cameras and mic off throughout the session. You can use the chat to ask your questions. And at the end, we'll already have a QA session. So let's dive in and start with survey building with XEBO. So starting with, the first thing that we have to do is to just add in the details, your login details, and go to your account. Once you're in your account, you will be able to see the surveys, all the surveys that you have created in your account. You'll be able to see a list of those surveys. You have different folders in which you can, just segregate the surveys so that you can better organize your survey. Let's say if you have some surveys for customer care, then you have some for employee experience. You can have different folders here and just move your surveys in that. So once you click on any particular folder, you will be able to see the surveys related to that particular section. And under all surveys, you can see the list of entire surveys that you have. To start with the survey, firstly, we have the option to just use the create survey button. Just click that. You can start with the templates, the predefined templates that we have. If you want, let's say for employee experience, you can just go to it. You can see the templates. If you like any particular template, you can just select that and start working on it. You can just preview the surveys as well and see the questions that are there in that template and start working on it. So we have different categories for the surveys. You have for customer feedback, for healthcare, for research, banking, etc. So these are the predefined templates. Now, to start the survey from scratch, you can just click on this start from scratch option. Give your survey a name. Let's say this is test survey. You can select the categories if it's for banking or e-commerce, education, etc. You can just select that. Let's say this particular is for banking. You can then select a folder. This goes to my test folder and then just start creating it. Once you're in your survey, this is the layout that you will see. You will be able to see the questions, the theme section, the settings, along with the add introduction option and then the add question option as well. Now, to start with the survey, you can either directly start adding the questions or you can also leverage the capabilities of the XEBO bot that you can see at the bottom corner. You can ask the bot to give you questions. So let's take an example. Let's say I have a clothing brand and I want to measure my customer experience for that particular brand. Right? So we can just ask the bot to give questions. You can give the bot a prompt. Let's say give questions for clothing brand to measure customer experience. You can give the bot this prompt and just give it a go. Now, based on this, the bot will come back with certain questions that you can see here. Whatever questions you like, you can just go through these questions. Whatever question that you like, you can keep it checked. If you don't like any particular question, you can just uncheck it and add that question in your survey. So as you can see here, we have a rating question, then you have a question for the quality of the products purchased, then you have, let's say, the NPS questions as well, right? So let's say I don't want this particular single choice question. So you can just uncheck it and then select the add selected questions in your survey. So the bot will add all those questions for you. You can just go through it. If you want to make any minor change in the text or anything, you can do that as well. Now, let's say you want more questions related to the product. So you can just go back to the bot and ask, give product based questions for rating or something like that, and then just again give it a go. So the bot will again just come back with the questions like this. So you can keep on conversing with the bot and add the questions in your survey, whatever prompt, or you can just give a detailed information to it, and based on that the bot will come back with questions that you can add in your survey. So that's one way to go about it. Other is that if you have your own questions, you can use the add question option here, and then you can start adding the questions from this wide list of question types that we have. So we have some generic questions, and then there are some questions like the advanced question types as well. You have interactive questions, single choice based. So I'll just take you through these questions once. Now, starting with, you have the choice based question, in which you have a single choice, you have multiple choice, then you have drop downs as well. So let's say you just want the respondent to select any one option out of a list. You can use a single choice question like this. Then if you have a multiple choice based question, let's say there's a question, which product did you purchase from a brand, and you want the respondent to select any multiple options from this list. They can select 2, 3, or 4 options as well. You can use the multiple choice in this case. Then you have drop down questions as well, in which you can just provide a list. Now this drop down you can make as single choice as well as multiple choice. So these are some choice based questions that we have. Then next you have our text box question types. So you have a single text box. Let's say you want the respondent to just add your name, add their names. So you can add a single text box having a question like, please write your name. Similarly, if there are multiple things that you want the respondents to answer in a single question, you can have a multiple text box as well. Like we have here, how much do you spend on shopping in a week, in a month, in a quarter, and in a year? So you can allow the respondent to have multiple options, multiple text box here. And then we also have a text box area that will allow the respondents to provide detailed answer or detailed comments on it. Let's say you have a question saying, please provide your feedback, or if you have any suggestions, do let us know. So you can use the text area question in this case. Moving forward, we have NPS questions. So you have different kind of NPS questions that you can add. You have a single NPS, which will just have a simple NPS scale. So from 0 to 10, the respondents can provide their rating. So we have 0 to 6 that are detractors, so it's in red color. Then you have 7 to 8 your passives in different color, and then 9 to 10 your promoters. They're also in different color. You can even change the desktop, the style of this NPS. Instead of, let's say, a simple scale, you want emojis here. So you can just change the type for that as well. You have NPS arc, gauge chart, then non-colored NPS as well. Now, if you want a different view for your mobile, let's say you don't want NPS scale in your mobile, you want an NPS arc. So you can also use the setting different for mobile view, and you can change the type that you will see in mobile. So once the respondent selects, or like once they answer through a desktop, they'll see a scale. If they answer from mobile, they'll see another type, let's say NPS arc. So you can change these types as well. Then you have multiple NPS. in which the respondents will be able to have multiple NPS in a single questions, and then they can give their ratings. And lastly, for NPS, you have the NPS Pro, which will have which will automatically have range-based questions as well, the follow-up questions that you will ask your respondents. So if 0 to 6 is selected, they'll see this question: what did you like about the products? You can have different kind of questions here, either a single choice or a multiple choice or a single text box as well. So if anybody gives a rating between 0 to 6, they will see this question. If they give you a rating between 7 to 8, they will get this question with the text box area. Similarly, for 9 to 10, they will get another question. So this is an NPS Pro with which you can have different kind of follow-up question by just adding a simple one question. Then you have metrics-based questions, starting with rating metrics. Let's say you have a lot of parameters, and instead of having separate questions, you want one single question in which you want all your parameters. So here you can use rating metrics question type, where I have just provided all the parameters: the product durability, price range, customer service, etc. And then based on this, the respondent can give their rating. So if they are very dissatisfied, they will be able to just simply provide the rating here. Then you have next we have is this bipolar metrics. So under bipolar metrics, you will be able to provide a range, a sort of a range. Let's say you have from dull to vibrant. Then you can allow your respondent to just select which side they are more inclined to. Let's say they want to say that the quality of the dress is very poor, it's dull, so they can just select that particular option here. Similarly, if they think that the quality maybe it's soft, then they can select towards excellent. So you can kind of provide a range using the bipolar metrics. Then you have the metrics drop down, as well as the text box metrics as well, with which you can allow the respondent to have drop downs as well. So let's say for quality, hoodies quality, they were very satisfied, so they can just select that in this. Let's say for jeans, the quality was neutral, so they can select the ratings based on this as well. So instead of drop down, if you want a text box, we can do that as well. Using the metrics text box, you can add, the respondents can add their answers to it. Then we have the rating based questions. So, like we had for NPS, we have single rating, in which you can just allow one rating question there. Then you have multiple rating. So if you have multiple parameters, like I want the respondents to provide their level of satisfaction based on the design and on the service. So you can just add multiple NPS, multiple rating scales here. If you want more rows, you can add that as well. So in a single question, the respondent can select, let's say they are very satisfied with the design, so they can just select this option. If they find the service very dissatisfying, so they can select that. In a single question, you can add. And then similar to how we had the NPS Pro, we have Rating Pro as well, in which you can ask follow-up questions based on the range. So if anybody selects maybe 1 star or 2 stars, you can have a different follow-up questions. If they select 5 stars, then you can have another one. We have slider-based questions as well. So as you can see here, we have a single slider and multiple slider as well. If you want multiple parameters like we did for this rating question, you can provide the scales for them as well. So this scale, you can change the styles. This is a discrete one. If you want emoji slider, you can do that as well. And then once the respondents slide this, the emojis will change. If they're very satisfied, the emoji will have the heart in the eyes. Similarly, if they're dissatisfied, then the emoji will change. So you can add different kind of questions in your survey. Moving forward, we have file-based questions. where the respondents can upload their images or videos if they want to. So you can make the surveys more, you can gather more feedback from them. You can ask them to maybe upload any image. Let's say if this is a clothing brand and the respondent was not satisfied with the quality of the cloth or maybe anything, then they can upload the images as well. So you have image based question where you can allow just a single box here in which they can drop the files, or you can have a button layout as well. So once the respondent selects this choose file option, they will be able to upload it. So they can upload multiple files as well. So these are some file based questions we have here. Now you have ordering based questions as well. So let me just take a test link. Yeah. So in the order based questions, you can, allow your respondents to give orders of the options that you have given there. So let's say you have multiple, options that what a product or what would be their ranking that they will provide on a particular option. So the respondents can rank based on like they can rank based on this. So let's say we have this purchasing decision rank that the respondents want to give. So whatever rank they want to give, let's say for me, branding goes, quality goes first, right? So you can just click on the drop down. The respondent can click on the drop down and they can select the order, the rank that they want to give. So let's say quality goes first, then let's say design goes second. So they can again just click on the drop down and provide the ranking for it. Let's say variety goes fourth and then branding goes fifth. So you can allow the drop rank option. Or we have another rank base, which is called click and rank, where the respondent can click the options based on their ranking sequence. So let's say quality is first, so I'll click on it first. Then let's say variety, price, design, and branding. So the order in which I want to rank these options, I'll just click in that. So that's your click and rank. Then you have drag and rank as well. Whatever option you want to keep first, you can just drag it and take it to that particular option. Let's say design is first, then goes the variety, then I have branding, and then price and quality. So you can just drag and drop as well. So these are different rank based questions that you can add in your survey. Then you have uh, the uh, range, the constant sum question as well, in which you can have a constant sum. Let's say the respondent had selected 5,000 that they spent to buy the products from your brand, and you want the respondent to bifurcate that 5,000 amount into different products that they spend at, right? So we can use the constant sum. Let's say I have 1,000 here that I want the respondents to add. Now, this 1,000, the respondent needs to bifurcate. Let's say if I am adding 700 here and 300 here and 100 and again 100. So this is more than 1,000, right? So I'll get this error message. The respondent won't be able to move forward since the value is not matching to the constant sum that we have provided. Now, because of this, the respondent, they will just have to, add based on the amount that they have added. So let's say I'll just add 50 and 50 here. Now this sums up to 1,000. So the respondent will be able to move forward to the next question. So that's your constant sum question type. Then moving forward in ordering, you have two interactive question type as well. That's swipe card and card sort. So you can, let's say, would you want to buy the following products? The respondent, if they want to buy, they can just right swipe it like this. If they don't want it, they can just left swipe it. So you can use the swipe based question just to make your service interactive as well. The respondent can also click on the thumbs up icon. If they like it, they can just click on thumbs up. If they don't like it, they can just click on this thumbs down option. Then we have the next question type, which is the card sort. So let's say you have a list of options here. Please arrange the options below in order of your preference. Now, we have this card list and we have different categories. Let's say do not want to try, have tried, or will try. So the respondent can just drag the options and put it in different carts. Let's say shirt, I have already tried from this particular brand, so I'll just add it in half price. Hoodies, this is something that I will try in future. So they can just drag and drop the options in different categories based on their preferences. So you can use this question type as well for order. Now we have more advanced question type as well to make your service interactive. So you can allow the respondent to provide audio or video feedback as well. So they can tell about their experience in detail. They can record their responses through audios, or they can also video record their responses that you can ask in your surveys. So you can make your service interactive using that. Then we have hotspot question type and heat map question types. So let's say for hotspot, we will pre-select the areas of our products. Let's say we have this question: which area or part do you like or dislike about the t-shirts? And I have pre-selected some areas. So I want to gain the customer feedback on the print of the material of the clothes that we offer, maybe on the neck design, the sleeve, or the cloth and material. So these are the pre-selected areas. Once the respondent clicks on any of the area, they will be able to like or dislike it and provide their feedbacks as well. So if they like the particular area, let's say they like this one, they can just add the comments if they have any. If they don't like any, they can just dislike it and then add their comments as well. Let's say maybe the product quality was not good or the colors are too limited. So they can just provide their feedback like this. So this is the hotspot question. And then you have a heat map question type as well, in which the respondent can select the areas at their own will. Let's say there's a question, please select on the areas of this product that you would like us to work on. Let's say I want the brand to work on the hoodie design or maybe the pockets. So you can just select those areas here using the heat map question type. So these are some question types that you can add to make your service even more interactive. Then we have max different question types as well. And then there are some price-based question. So this price-based question that we have, price sensitivity, we have Van Westendorp, Textop, we have the drop-down format as well. And then we have Gabor Granger. So you can use these question types to make your get an idea about the pricing the respondents are willing to spend for your products. So using a Van Westendorp question type, let's say you can let me just answer this question first. Go next. So using the Van Westendorp, you can provide a range of the options, and then the respondent can select whether they find that particular amount too expensive or maybe too cheap for your products, or different questions that you have here. So the respondent can select. Let's say this is for too expensive. I think that 4,000 is too expensive to spend on a particular hoodie, right? Or let's say this is 2,500 is maybe expensive, but 1,800, this is something that's a good value and I will consider buying it. And 1,000 is too less. So like this, you can ask your respondents to provide their insights on the pricing. And then you have Gabor Granger question type as well, in which you can provide range about your product, right? And then the respondent can select whether they find that particular amount okay, that is whether they'll buy that or they find it to be expensive, right? So let's say we have 700. So for a hoodie, do you think 700 is okay? So let's say I'll buy it. Then it will increase the amount to the next slot that we have added. Let's say that is 1,300. If for 1,300 as well, the respondent says that they'll buy it, then it will take to next amount that we have added. Let's say for me, 1,700 is expensive. So I'll just add it's expensive, right? So that question will end for me there. So that's how you can use Gabor Granger question as well and these price sensitivity question types to get an idea about the prices of your products. And you can use that to set up proper pricing. You have capture based question type as well. Maybe you can just add it in your survey starting and ask the users to verify whether they are not a robot. So you can add that as well. So these are some question types that you can add in your surveys. You can, make a combination of them to make your surveys interactive and insightful as well. Now, once we have added the questions, the next step would be to add an introduction page and a thank you page. So before jumping right to the questions, we would want to, have a small or a brief intro for our respondents, in which we can maybe provide the length of the survey, or just a small brief that you appreciate their time and you value their feedback. So like we have added here that that we want to understand about their feedback, and this survey will approximately take 2 minutes to fill. So you can provide that information here. Then you can just go on and edit the message as well. You can format it if you want to keep it center aligned or bold, if you want to change the color of it, right? So you can add all that from here. You can use these options to customize your intro message. Then you can also just change the button text. Let's say you want here start survey, so this button text would be changed. Now you have the option to add a different background color for your introduction page or a background image as well. So if I'll just show how that would look is, once the survey starts, the respondent will get your introduction message, hello in your continuous efforts, etc. So once the respondent clicks on the start survey button, then the survey will start. So then they can start filling in the responses on your questions. So that's your intro page. Then you can also add your brand logo just to work just to give an idea about that as well. You can just use this logo option from here, add the logo. You can just upload it from your device, add the logo there, and then you have the options to change the alignment for it in case you want it to be center aligned, or if you want to increase the size of the logo, you can just click on it and drag like this as well. So once you've added your introduction page and your logo, then you can go on to add your thank you page as well. So you will just go to the end, and there's an option just like we did for add introduction page. We'll have an option to add thank you page as well. I'll just remove this one. So you can see there's an option add thank you page. You can just click on it, right? You can customize the message. So similarly, how we had for the introduction page, you can just open the rich text editor, whatever text that you want to add, maybe thank you for your time, or if you want to add any other message, so you can add that as well. Then you have the options to change the formatting for this as well. Once you're done with it, you can just save it. Here we have certain additional settings, like you have the option to add buttons as well. Let's say we have a thank you button where you can add a redirecting URL. So maybe you can add your website. As soon as the respondent clicks on the thank you button, they will be redirected to your website. So whatever URL that you will provide here, they will be taken to that. Then you have the options to customize the colors for the buttons as well. You'll get a preview how it would look. Let's say instead of this blue color, you wanted maybe in pink or red somewhat, so you can just change that color text from here. Then here on the thank you page, we have more settings, like you have the option to use the social media sharing as well. Once you enable it, you will get this message, right? You can just set all the setting. If you want to, share any, if you want the respondents to share any link on, let's say, Facebook or on Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, so you can provide that link here along with what message has to be shared. So let's say you can maybe add a web link or any your website here, and you can provide the message, please check this website out, or something like that. You can just fill in these settings. And here you can also provide the message for your respondents. That is what they will see. Let's say you can provide them a message like, we are glad that you filled out this survey. Please share the following link with your friends and family. So that message the respondent will see, and this is what they will be sharing further. So you can use the social media sharing option on the thank you page as well. So this is what you can add in your survey. We have added an introduction page, we have added the questions, and we have added the thank you page as well. Now, once this is done, the next step would be to apply logics on a survey to make the survey flow in, like to change the survey flow as per the responses the customers are giving in your survey, right? And you can also, you can use the logics to make your surveys intelligent, right? So how it works is, you on any question where you want to apply the logics, you can just click on it, and you will be able to see certain additional actions that you can take on it. You have the logics icon, then you have the preview icon. So in case you directly want to just preview any question, you can directly just use this preview option. If you want to preview the entire survey flow, you can use the preview for the survey as well. Then you have additional settings like you can hide the questions, make a copy of it, then duplicate it, like move the question from one place to maybe let's say to the end or anywhere. So you can do all that using these additional actions. For the logics, we have this option. Once you click on it, you'll be able to see a list of logics that we have. Right. So starting with the very simple and very direct logic, that is the skip logic. This is something that you can use to skip your respondents directly from one question to another. Let's say you have a question. Do you want to start the survey? If the respondent clicks yes, then they will be taken to the next question. If they click on no, then they will be taken to the, let's say, end page. So here in this case, you can directly use a skip logic. You can just click on the logic that you want to apply. Then you will see certain settings here. If yes is selected, then we don't want any branching. We want the survey to go on normally. But if no is selected, then the respondents will be skipped to the, let's say, the end page. And then you can just go on, apply it. Once you publish it, okay, I'll just take a preview here. So I'm using a test link here. So if I click yes, I will be taken to the next question. But if I am selecting no, then I'll be taken to the end page. So like this, you can use the skip logic to directly skip the respondents from one question to another. Instead of end page, if you want them to go to another questions, you can do that as well. Then we have delayed branching. That is a logic, it's like an advanced version of skip logic. Using the delayed branching, you can create criterias, and based on those criterias, you can create branches. So let's take an example here. We have a gender based question, and there's the initial question that we had for to start the survey. So what we want is, let's say our survey is male centric, right? What we want is, we want only the male respondents to go to the next questions, and let's say the female audience and others, they will be taken to the disqualification page because we are targeting male. Maybe there's a product that is specifically for that audience, right? So what we'll do is, since there's a criteria involved here, we'll be going to the delayed branching, and we can directly create a criteria from here. We can just provide it a name. Let's say it's male, yes, and whatever name that you want to give. So you can just give it here. Now you need to select the questions based on what you want to create the criteria. In the first question, I want the base question, that is, do you want to start with the survey? If the answer to this question is yes, right? And we'll add one more question, that is gender. If the gender is male. So if the respondent has selected yes, that they want to start the survey and their gender is male, then they will be taken to the next question, which is to write their name. This is a criteria. But if this criteria is not met, then they will be taken to the disqualification page. So you can just go on and apply it. Once this is done, you can just again go to the test link and just see the flow, how it will work. So do you want to start with the survey? I'm selecting yes here. And if I'm selecting male, then I'll be taken to the next question, which is please write your name. But if I'm selecting female, then I will be disqualified out of the survey because we had applied a logic for that. So that's how you can create criterias as well. It can be anything based on the requirement, and based on those criterias, we can apply these logics. So we have seen skip logic, we have seen the delayed branching as well. Then you have display logic, right? Display logic is like we have two display logics here. We have question display logic, and then we have options display logic as well. So question display logic is used when you want to display a particular question based on any condition. Let's say we have this NPS question here, right? And there's a follow-up question. Why did you give us a poor rating? So this question should be shown only to the respondent who gives maybe a rating from 0 to 6. So in this case, you will create a criteria saying that the respondent has selected rating between 0 to 6. So that's your criteria. And if that criteria is met, then the question will be displayed. Otherwise, it won't be displayed. So in this case, you will be using the question display logic. Similar to this, we have options display logic as well, in which you can apply the display logic on the options. Let's say you have a long list of options and you want certain options to be shown based on a criteria. Let's say if male is selected, we want first two options to be displayed. If female is selected, we want last three options to be displayed, right? So in this case, you will use options display logic when you want to display the options based on any condition. So that's your display logic. Then we have carry forward logic, which is used when you want to carry the responses from one question to another. To take an example, we have this question: what all products did you buy from us? And then there is another question asking the respondents to rate the products that they have purchased. Right. What I want in this is whatever response the respondent selects in this first question, we want those to be taken here, and the respondent will then be rating that particular option. So here you can directly just go to this logic and select the question from where you want to carry the responses from and what you want to carry. Whether you want to carry all the choices from the base question or whether you want to carry the selected choices or the unselected choices. So you can select that from here. Once you do that, let's say I am selecting table and chair, then table and chair would be carried forward here and I can respond to that. If I'm selecting, let's say, sofa and television, then those two options would be carried forward. If I'm selecting all the five, then all the five options would be carried forward. So that is what you can do using the carry forward logic. Then we have priority logic. So priority logic is used when you want to give a priority to any question based on a criteria or without any criteria as well. So you can use priority logic. Let's say we'll take an example of the gender question again. Let's say if male is selected, then we want chair to be shown on top. This option should be given a priority. And if female is selected, we want, let's say, speakers to be on top and television to be on second. So it's kind of a it's kind of a list that will be changed based on the respondent, the conditions. So we can use the priority logic in this case and we can create different priority lists, right? If male is selected, we can maybe have a list one with a different sequence. And if female is selected, then we can have list two for like basically we can have list two for females. So based on the respondents, based on the answers that they will select in the gender questions, you can change the priorities of the options as well. Then we have auto select logic. Auto select logic is something that you can use when you want to automatically save any option based on maybe a condition or without any condition. So let's say we have a satisfaction question, a rating based question, in which we want the label 5, that is the very satisfied option. We want this to be automatically saved once it shows up, right? Though the respondent will have the option to change their answer. If they want to maybe go to very dissatisfied or neutral, they can switch their response. But if you just want it to be automatically saved once it shows up, you can use the auto select logic and automatically save the options. And then we have embedded data logic as well. That is something that you can this logic you can use if you are passing any data whilst triggering your surveys. If you're passing any embedded data, then you can use that logic, use those information to create logics as well. So for an example, if you're passing your surveys and you're applying, maybe you are passing the embedded data for age as well, right? So you can use that embedded data to maybe show different set of question based on the different age group. So let's say if somebody is less than 18, then they will be able to see this question, the first question. If they are between, let's say, 18 to 25, then they'll be seeing question number 2. Similarly, if there is any other criteria based on the embedded data, then you can use the embedded data logic as well. Lastly, we have this conditional validation logic, which is something that you can use if you want to provide any validations. Let's say we have an example here. Please write your email, in which we have we have provided two text box here. Once the respondent adds answer to this, we want them to re-enter the email, and we want to confirm that these two emails are same. That whatever response they have added, they should be same in both these boxes. So we can use the conditional validation in this case, and we can provide the condition that the response to both these things will be equal. So if the response is not equal, then we can give a error message. Let's say email should match. And if they are okay, if they are same, then the respondent will be able to move further. So these are different logics that you can apply in your survey. And one last logic that we have that we can apply on the rating questions or the NPS question is the promoter amplification. So if anybody gives you a good rating, let's say they are your promoters, they have given you a 9 or 10 rating, then you can use the promoter amplification logic, and you can allow the respondent to share the information. So this is similar to how we what we saw on the thank you page. We can allow them to share a link along with any message that you want them to share further with their friends and families. And then you can also provide a message for the respondent here. So as soon as they give you a good rating, they will be able to see additional box for the social media icons. So if it's WhatsApp or Facebook, once they click on it, they will be taken to their Facebook or social media page. So these are the different logics that you can add in your surveys to make your surveys intelligent and to mold the flow of the survey. Now you have added the introduction page, you have added your questions, you have added the logics and changed the flow for that as well. Then if there are any setting for any particular question, right, you can just click on that question, and on the right hand side you will be able to make those settings. If let's say for this particular question, please write your email address. You want to provide validation that this should accept only email type of response. So you can just go to that question, apply validations as well. So there are different kind of validations that you can put. You can have validations for text. You can just keep it to emails, only text, or you can provide validations for numbers. If it's a phone number, you can just add that as well. With advanced setting, you can set a default country as well, right? Similarly, if it's another number, using the advanced setting, you can set a minimum and maximum value for this particular response as well. If it's text, you can, let's say, have that maximum 100 characters should be there. So you can put all these validations on the question as well. And In some questions, you will also be able to see the behavior option, that is to randomize the options. So you can use this to, make this list random. So for, let's say, for a respondent, if table is on top, for another one, maybe speakers would be on top. So you can randomize the sequence of the options and change the behavior for it. So these are all the settings that you can do on the questions part, on the when you are adding the question. Now, moving forward, we'll be having is to design the theme of the survey. Now, once we've added everything in your survey, then we'll be working on the look and feel. So, as you've seen previously, we had here we have this, since it was a clothing brand, so we have designed the theme that looks like that, right? In the background, we have something related to the clothes, and you can see the buttons in yellow color, the background is in white. So, this is something that we can customize using the theme section. To create a theme, we have some default themes. Firstly, you can, just go to it, select any theme that you think that it will look good in your survey. If you like any theme, you can just go on and apply it. However, if you want to create a theme totally from scratch, then you can use the create theme option, right? And you can start building your theme from scratch. You can give this a name. Let's say this is test webinar and 29th, right? You can give it a name. Then you can add the background colors and you can change the colors for text. So under background, you can change the survey background color. You can change the headers, right? Header color. Then this is for the question background, what is currently in white. If you want to change it to any other color, you can do that from here. Then this is for the default option, the options that you have added in the question. So you can change the background color for that. Similarly, once you select these option, what color would be shown? So you can change the selected color background option as well. So these are all the backgrounds, right? We have progress bar as well. As you can see, it's right now on the top. So you can change the progress bar color as well. Let's say I want it to be yellow. So you can add it from here. Then you have the option to change the colors for the text, what we see here, right? So let's say for questions, you want it to be in this color. So you can just change that from here. For options as well, let's say the default option should be in black color and the selected option should be in maybe green color. So you can just change that colors from here. So these are all the colors for the backgrounds and the text. Then you can change the formatting for the text, how it will look, whether you want it to be bold or maybe medium light. So you can just change the formatting for this and increase the size for it as well. Let's say you want all these options to be maybe 20 size. You can just set these settings from here, right? Then progress bar style, if instead of top you want it to be at, let's say, bottom, so you can just switch it from here, right? Then you also have the option to have, radio buttons. If it's a single choice, then you can allow to have the radio buttons. If it's a multiple choice, you can have a checkbox question as well, right? So this is how it would look. I'll just go to this. So you can have the checkbox on the multiple choice questions as well. Now, in case instead of a simple color, you want to add a background image, then you can just go on and upload it from your device as well. So instead of color, you can have a background image, right? Then you have advanced settings where, let's say, for mobile, for desktop, this is the background image that you will see. But for mobile, it should be, let's say, we want this particular image for mobile. So you can have different background image for desktop and mobile. You can change the fonts as well from here. And in case you want even more for like further customizations, then we have the options to use the custom CSS for further like formatting of your themes. So once you save it in a library, you can just go on and see how it would look. So this is how the theme would look like. You can just totally add your brand colors or anything that you want to add. And if we see the mobile view, then it will be different. You can see the image has changed if it's a mobile view. So likewise, You can have different backgrounds for desktop and for mobile. So that's how we can, work on the survey themes and make our surveys look appealing, and enhance the look and feel for that. So we are done with the questions, we have added the themes. Then there are certain basic settings that you can make in your surveys. So start there are basic settings, and then we have some advanced settings as well. So in the basic, you will have some general settings like whether you want to show the question numbers or not, right? Or whether you want to have a next button or a previous button. So these are certain settings that you can have. You can allow to have the navigation button, or if you don't want the respondents to navigate back to your previous questions or something, so you can turn it off as well. Then you can change the button text instead of next. If you want next page or maybe next question, so you can just change those text as well from here. Then you have the interaction type, whether you want it to be as one question view or multiple question view. That is, the respondent can see multiple questions on a single page. So you can have multi question view as well. Then you can change the button layout. That is the buttons that we see. You can, if you want it as floating, you can just hover over these and you'll be able to see a quick preview of how those buttons would look. So right now it's floating. If you want to keep it split or bottom, you can just make these settings from here. So these are some general settings that you can add in your question, right? Then next we have is languages. So let's say we made our survey in English, but we are targeting a big audience and we want to make a survey multilingual. So you can use the languages options to add more languages in your survey, right? You can, let's say I have already added three languages here. If I want to, let's say, add Italian, so you can just simply select that and apply it. You can see a new language has been added to my survey. Now we can translate it on the platform using the auto translate option that picks Google Translate, that uses the Google Translate to translate. Or you can also just edit in Excel. You can download the template from here, add the translations against the English text, and just upload it back on the platform. So you can use any of these options to translate your survey. Once you have done that, I'll just auto translate it for now. Once you have done that and you check the survey, so the respondent will initially get a question asking for their preference in what language they want to start the survey in. Based on that, whatever response the respondent selects in that, the survey will start in that. Let's say I'm selecting Arabic here. So the survey will start in Arabic for me, right? If I want to switch to, let's say, English, then I can just use the drop down option here and switch the language as well. You can also, make a default language. Let's say you want the survey to start only in English language, then you can in Arabic language. So you can just keep a default language. So the survey will automatically start in that particular language as well. So that's how you can, have a default language as well. So this is something that you can use to make your service multilingual and have multiple languages. You can add many languages here in a single survey. Then we have quality checks. You can use these settings to regulate the quality of the responses that you get on your survey. So there are different parameters or different checks here based on timings, based on the response that you are getting, based on mobile responses. Like we have check based on the duration. So let's say your survey is long. It should ideally take about 7 to 10 minutes to fill in, but a respondent responds in less than a minute. So that's not a quality response, right? So you can flag these kind of response. You can set the settings. Let's say if less than 9 minutes are taken or 10 minutes are taken, then that response will be flagged. So you can put these settings from here. So there are based on timings. If let's say mobile response, if no GPS is tracked or if fake GPS is tracked, right? Or based on responses. Let's say you have an open-ended question and the answer to is less, it has very less characters, maybe less than 1,000 characters. So you can flag based on the responses as well. So these are certain quality checks that you can put. Then you have some security measures as well. If you don't want any kind of data e-data to be captured, like the IP address or the location data or the contact information, so you can make your responses anonymous as well. And you can use the prevent indexing option to just block the search engines. So when like the survey won't be shown in their search results, so you can use the prevent indexing options as well. So these are some security measures that you can take. Next up, we have is completion rule, which is basically where the respondent will be taken to once they are done with the survey. Either they complete the survey and they are on the end page, or they use the exit button to go out of the survey. So where will they be taken to? That is something that we can like configure using the completion rule settings. So here you can add a redirecting URL. Maybe if you want to add your website or maybe a Google review link, whatever link wherever you want the respondents to go to, you can just add that link here. Or if you just want them to see a simple thank you page, then you can just keep it as thank you page. So the respondents will be taken to the thank you page, and from there as well, you can redirect them. Then you have settings for the disqualifications due to maybe logics or quotas. If you have any disqualification, then what message they will see or where will they be taken to. So you can make those settings as well using the completion rules. Then you have analytics in case you want to integrate your Google Analytics, or if you are using the mobile application, the field post collector, so you can record the interviews that the agents will take. So you can use the analytics and turn these settings on from here. So these are some basic settings of the survey. And lastly, we have some advanced settings as well. So starting with, we have the criteria. These criteria are whatever conditions that you create while applying the logics on your surveys. So you can set this, you can edit those criteria from here as well. So either you can just go to the question where you are applying the logic, you can directly create a criteria from here, or you can come to the advanced settings as well, and here as well you can create a criteria. If you want to create a new criteria, you can just create from here. If you want to maybe edit a pre created criteria, you can also do that. If you want to make a duplicate or delete anything, so all that can be done under the criteria section. Then you have quotas. So quota are something that is used if you want to set a limit to the response that you get on your question. So let's say I have a quota here based on gender, right? I want three responses from males, maybe two from female and two from others. So we can just apply that limit. You can just keep it to maybe 100 or 500, totally up to you, whatever limit that you want to have. Based on that, you can just create this quota. So you can either have a hard quota or a soft quota. So hard quota, as soon as the limit is met, the respondents will be disqualified due to quota limit. And soft quota, the respondents won't be disqualified directly. They will be able to fill in the response. But as the host, you can see if you want to, keep those responses or not. If you want to remove the extra, then you can do that. So you can see the quota analysis on the analyze page as well, that if it's complete or it's overflowing, then it will be marked in red. Like you can see here, the three responses have been captured, right? So it's in red because we had a limit for two. Similarly for male, it's in yellow. So it's because it hasn't been filled, it hasn't been completed. This is something that's partial and we need more response from that. So this is how you can use the quotas as well. Then we have timers. That is something you can use to add timer in your survey. So there are two kind of timers. You can use increasing timer or a decreasing timer as well. Let's say you want, there's a particular question on which you want the respondent to answer in within, let's say, 15 seconds. So you can keep a decreasing timer. As soon as the 15-second time would be met, the respondent will be automatically taken to the next question. So you can use a decreasing timer in this case, right? You can just select from what page to what. you want the timer to be there, you can select the time limit. You can, if it's for 15 seconds, then you can just set that time here. And then you can also just configure the message that you want the respondents to see, right? So that's on timer. Then we have two advanced settings here. First is looping. That is something that is used when you want to repeat a question, right, multiple times based on a previous question. So let's say we have this, there's a base question, what do you like? And then there are certain follow up questions here. That is on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you like that particular option that they have selected? Then how much time do they spend on it? And thirdly, why do they like it? Right. So instead of adding these questions multiple times, we'll just add it once, and based on that, the whatever response the respondent selects in this, the questions will be repeated. So I'll give you a preview first how it works, right? So let's say under what do you like, I'm selecting social media or maybe arts and craft, and let's say series. So three options I have selected here, right? And if I go to next, I'll get the question on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you like social media? So the response that I selected in the previous question, it will automatically be shown here, right? Once I respond to it, I'll get the next question, how much do you spend on social media? And then why do you like it? And then the same set of question will be looped for another option that I had selected, which were arts and craft, right? Again, how much time do I spend on it? Why do I like it? And then again, the same set of questions will be repeated based on whatever response that I am selecting in the previous question. So this is something that can be done using the looping. We can just go on looping and configure what all questions we want to select, and based on what we want the response, the questions to be repeated. So that is something that can be done using the loopings. Then for mapping, this is something that is used when you want to map the responses of multiple questions. When you are carrying forward the response, the mapped choices will be forwarded, right? To again take an example, let's say you have a brand name here, right, in which you have multiple brands. Then the question that the respondent will see is what models they have used, right? And in the next question, we have which brand is your favorite. So I mean, the whatever brands, the whatever models the respondents have used, probably they will be liking a brand of that particular model only, right? So here, instead of carrying forward the models, will automatically carry forward the brand based on the models that they have chosen, right? So let's say if they have selected Hilux here, or maybe Tucson, so the brand Toyota and Hyundai, that will be carried forward automatically, right, instead of all the options. So what I have done here is I have mapped these options, whatever models we have, I have mapped these options with their brand names, and based on whatever response the respondent selects in the model question, their mapped brand name will be forwarded. So that is how we can use the mapping, and like a combination of mapping and carry forward. Then lastly, we have the variables. This is something when you are passing embedded data in your survey, then you will be you just need to add the variables here, so that those embedded data can be added. Let's say if you're passing emails or names, or the mobile numbers, so you can just add the variables here, so that will be shown in your responses. And lastly, if you're using the field force application, the mobile applications, then you can just set the settings here, what particular block or what particular section you want the recording to be turned on. So automatically, once the interviewer, the agent is on that particular question section, then the recording will start for that server. So these are some settings that we can make in the surveys based on our like our requirements. So now we have done everything here. We have added the introduction pages, we have added the questions, updated the flows, and made the survey intelligent using the logics. We have designed the themes as well for the survey, right? And we have also set the settings. So the last step after doing everything is just to publish the survey so that all the changes and all the updates that you have made in your survey will be reflected in the link as well. Once you're done with it, then your survey is good to go, and you will be able to collect responses on that. So that's how you can build your surveys, and yeah, and you can share the surveys further with your respondents. If you want to just have a quick glance of it, how it will look, you can use the test link option. If for test link you can just publish the surveys, then all the changes would be reflected in that. You can share this test link with your fellow mates as well, so that they can also just test the flow of the survey, right? Or you can use preview option, that is directly on the platform. If you just want to have a quick view of how, if you're making any minor changes, then you can use the preview option or the test link, both things that you can use. So that's how you can build the surveys for this. All right. I think that brings us to the end of today's session on building surveys with XEBO. I hope that you found this demonstration helpful, and that you are feeling more confident about using XEBO to create surveys. Now, we'd love to hear from you. You can, just type in your questions if you have any. You can just type in your chat, and we'll be happy to take it up. I'll give you a moment to submit your questions in the chat, and then we can begin with that. So if you have multiple languages in a single survey, right? Let's say you have English language, you have Arabic, French, like I had one in mind, right? So firstly, you can just keep a preference option in the starting. The respondent can select that, right? Whatever language they want to start with, they can select that. That's the first thing. If the respondent wants to switch, they will have a drop down that they can switch the survey. The entire survey, whatever is there, the button text, the questions, the options, all those would be translated in that particular language that they selected. If they are selecting, let's say they started the survey in English, or let's say in Arabic, then everything will be translated to that, right? And then you can also have a default option. If you want the survey to start directly in a particular language, then you can keep it as default. Yes, you can have specific fonts as well. So that is something that your particular account manager, they can take up, right? Whatever fonts that you have, you can share it with the team. We have a wide list of fonts that are already there and on the platform. And if you still have any other one, then the fonts can be migrated as well. So in the metrics, so there's a question: how do you add more than four options in the metrics? So in that, basically on the questions, when you're adding, right, you have the options to add rows or add columns depending on the question that you have added. If the question type just has rows, you can just click on the add row and add your options there. If there are columns as well, let's say I had added 5 scale rating, right, that was very dissatisfied to very satisfied. If you want more options there, then you can use the add rows and add columns to add more options there. How do you change the fonts? So fonts can be changed on the theme section. Once you're at the theme, whatever theme has been applied to your survey, just go to that, edit it. You will be able to see the fonts option. So whatever fonts that you want to apply, you can just select that particular font. You can add, like, you can just go to the, like, how many options can we add in the hotspot question. So that's up to you. Whatever section that you want to add, you can, there's an option, a plus icon that you will be seeing there. You can just select the ranges and add based on that. If I change or add more questions in my previous survey, it will be reflected to the reports with the same data before. So if you have, or if the survey is already live and you have collected the responses to your survey, then firstly, we suggest not to delete any question as it will hamper the data, right? If you want to add more questions, you can just simply add that, right? And the responses will be captured after adding the questions and once you have published the survey. So after publishing the new changes that you have made in the survey, it will be reflected to your live links as well. And then whatever responses are captured since then, those would be added in your reports from that particular date. So for NPS from 0 to 7, you can use a rating question in that case. If you have a 7 scale options, you can use a rating question there. Can you show me how to move surveys to created folders? Okay. So for that, you have an option. Once you are on the all survey pages, you will be seeing that three dots icon there, right? So there you will have the option to move the survey to a particular folder. So from there, you can move it. Um, okay, can we have dashboard sessions? So that is something that is planned for the later. Like we'll have another separate session for that, and we'll take it up in the due course. All right, I think that brings us to the end of this. If there are any further questions, please feel free to email it to us. We'll be happy to answer them. If you have any other questions, you can also just reach out. You can send an email to me or to XEBO support team. They will be taking those questions up later. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be seeing you in the next sessions. We'll keep you updated with whatever next session we'll be having, and we'll be seeing you there. Thank you so much for your time. It was great meeting you all.